Yo, hell yeah. Wyatt begins in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, welcome to Wyatt. And I'm your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans. Grr, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. Hey, I said, hey. To all my YouTubers out there, if you like what you hear and if you don't like what you see, just click those subscribe buttons at the bottoms of all of your screens. And while you're at it, because I know you loves me, give me some likes. And also, hi, leave me some feedback. You know what I'm saying? I always like to know what you're thinking, and I'll definitely comment on what you're commenting on. Anywho, today Wyatt sits down with entrepreneur, media producer, and philanthropist, Mr. Darius Caffey. He has so many absolutely marvelous work to his credit, y'all. For example, he's the founder of The Closet Unlocked, and he's also the host of The Table on Air, the vibrant and popular talk show straight out of the Windy City. So let's sail into this conversation so we can find out what's up. You know what I'm saying? I know you do. So without further ado, Wyatt welcomes entrepreneur, media producer, and philanthropist, Mr. Darius Caffey. Talk at me, baby. How the hell are you?
I am amazing, Wyatt. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Cool. I'm glad to have you on, Wyatt, man. First thing I want to say to you is this. Let me tell you something. I love doing that because, see, it just makes me feel so much better. It just relaxes me. It really gets me into the groove of this interview. The reason why I say that is because I want to be just like you when I grow up, because, my brother, you have accomplished a lot. You wear a lot of hats. So let me go down to my cheat sheet here. This is you. You're the founder, creator of The Closet Unlocked, a social enterprise community that helps amplify the voices and experiences of Black LGBTQ plus individuals. You're also the director of institutional partnerships and board member of Black Alphabet, which is an organization committed to giving the Black LGBTQ plus community a voice through the arts and media. And you don't stop, my brother, because you are the talk show host of The Table on Air at the Chicago Access Network TV station. And you're the new CEO of Contributing Creator. I love that title. A business development consulting firm. You also have an MPA, a Master's of Public Affairs to boot. So, you're just so busy. How do you do it all?
Day by day, I take naps.
Okay.
You got to find some balance there.
How many naps do you take? Because I take some too.
Whenever I can.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, look, man, I always like to tell what people have done in their career. But one thing I caution you, do not break your hand patting yourself on the back. All right?
I won't.
Okay. All right. You stated, my friend, and I quote, as an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and media producer, I utilize education to catalyze change and system leaders toward the betterment of under-resourced and underrepresented people, end quote. Now, that's intriguing and deep. So, Darius, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so a lot of my background has been in the community space, community engagement, community development, youth engagement. I, like you said, have a master's in public affairs, but that was not always the start of my journey.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time working in school systems, working with educators, working with young people, really kind of helping them navigate the world and figure out what they wanted to do and helping them develop a plan for that and really have a passion for, continuing to help people
Mm.
build systems and make sure that they have a strong infrastructure. So that continues to bleed out into the multitude of the things that I do now in the media space, but also in community advocacy, organizing, to make sure that we are sharing resources with folks to make sure that they have what they need in order to live, survive, and thrive. And like you said, it doesn't stop. I'm always trying to figure out more ways to connect folks with the resources that they need to be successful. And it's just a lot of my experience that has helped me continue to do that in a lot of different ways, whether that's here in Chicago, around the Midwest, or connecting folks on a more nation level.
Great. You know what, man? Look, you need to be my PR agent because you said that so well.
You can hire me if you need to.
We're going to talk about this after this is over because I'm telling you. But man, thank you for that. A little later, we're going to delve into institutional partnerships for Black Alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to delve into the table on air and contributing creator. But for right now, please, let's talk about The Closet Unlocked. I love the title for that.
Thank you.
It says a lot, very clever. Can you tell us precisely what it is? What was the impetus for creating it? And what is its mission?
Yeah. So The Closet Unlocked is a multimedia platform focused on amplifying the diverse voices of Black, queer, trans, and non-binary people around the world. So we started originally with a blog, an anthology series, an anonymous survey to make sure that we are welcoming diverse voices into the space to allow people the ability to tell their story. That's always been my mission. And my goal is to continue to help people tell their story and create more ways for us to do that, more creatively. So that's kind of where The Closet Unlocked started. And over the last 5 years, we've continued to grow and expand and work with more local partners and organizations to do more of this work, to really kind of continue to amplify the different experiences that all of us go through. So it started with the conversation around really helping people understand the power that we have of being in the closet or whatever that means for other folks, but also wanting to make sure that we're covering all bases of what the Black queer experience looks like. So now we have extended, what our portfolio looks like past the blog series. We have the TV talk show. We currently host a in-person panel series with local organizations, Nobody's Darling Bar, here in the city of Chicago. And we also just recently launched a book club called Reading Came First, which is a reference to the Paris is Burning film documentary, in partnership with a Rapbrary, which is a nonprofit library based here in Chicago that focuses on preserving the culture of rap and hip hop and helping other artists really understand that they have power as writers and authors. Mm-hmm. And not just as music artists. Very recently, actually, just yesterday, we hosted our first live book reading event, which was an extension of the book club to make sure that we're not only, consuming information and media from Black queer writers, but we're giving them the space to be able to share their stories with the public and the world as well. So again, continuing to make sure that we're creating opportunities and spaces for our people to excel and shine and really give them their flowers while they're here.
Well, let me tell you something. I got a book for you. Nothing can tear us apart. Shattered. That's my book, so you can consider it.
We will definitely get it in the book rotation.
I know this was like a shameless plug, but what the hell? Anyway, my friend, we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well as your other ventures. But right now, let us travel through the corridors of time because the people here at Wyatt are nosy. They like to know about your backstory. So are you ready?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Where were you born and raised?
Chicago, Illinois, South Side.
All right. So what was it like growing up in Chicago, South Side?
That's a bit of a loaded question. um, I enjoyed it. I'm born and raised on the South Side, and I take pride in that. But
Mhm.
if you are from Chicago or understand the landscape of Chicago, then you know that the South Side has its challenges depending on where you are. I
Sure.
spent a lot of time in the city of the South Side, but then I also went to high school in the suburbs of Chicago. So I kind of had an experience on both levels of it. But I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate the culture of Chicago and
Mhm.
seeing it as a young person, being able to travel around the city, having friends and family around the city was a very interesting experience to kind of navigate, especially in the early 2000s when a lot of culture was changing in terms of the neighborhoods
Right.
and, where we could hang out and where we felt safe and where we could shop and all of these different things. And now experience in Chicago as an adult is a completely different experience. I had went to school to get my bachelor's and my master's degree at the University of Missouri. So I
Oh,
spent
okay.
about 8 years actually in the state of Missouri away from home after high school and
Right.
coming back as an adult. I actually moved downtown, which was very different than living on the South Side. But now I currently live on the South Side. So I got to really experience the city for the fullness of what it is, for the
Sure.
vitality of what Chicago brings to the culture, and really seeing how it has continued to shift and change and evolve and become more inclusive, for folks like me, especially as a Black queer man
Mhm.
growing up. The South Side was not always the best place, but
Right.
nowadays we are creating more spaces for us to feel included and welcome, which is also a part of why I do what I do, to make sure that we are making our spaces safe for our people.
Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I always, Darius, like to ask my guests this question because it can be like a window into who you are now.
Mhm.
So here it is. What was Darius like as a little boy, a little nipper? Give us like three characteristics, qualities that best describe you.
I was very inquisitive. And I think I still am. I ask a lot of questions, hence why I have a talk show, why I have host panel series,
There you
because I'm
go.
a talker. I've always been a talker. Uh,
No.
yes, yes. But I was always inquisitive. I always asked a lot of questions. I always
Sure.
hung around a lot of older people, the adults, in the family to make sure that I was getting all the bits of knowledge and everything. But I think
Mhm.
that kind of helped me continue to grow into who I am. I'm a
Sure.
learner by nature. I've always been a learner. I've always loved school. I've always loved reading. I spent a lot of time in the library reading,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also been social for a lot of my life. I am heavily involved in a lot of different things now. I was heavily involved in college. I was heavily involved in high school. And I think that's just the nature of who I am. I enjoy being around community and keeping my hands busy in a lot of different things.
Hmm.
So that has not changed in my life.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I can relate to that too. Because when I was growing up, very inquisitive, love books, love the library, and talking, always
Yep.
talking. Got it.
Always.
Got to talk. Got to talk. Okay. Are you still with me?
Yep.
Okay. Great.
Here.
Great. Great. Thank you. Okay. Let us fast forward to you're the director of the institutional partnerships for Black Alphabet. Give us the full Monty about that, about the
Yes.
organization and your role.
Yeah, so Black Alphabet is a nonprofit organization based here in Chicago, centered around arts and wellness. So originally, we hosted a annual film festival, which is now the oldest running and I would say largest Black LGBTQ focused film festival in the world.
Wow.
And it's
Whoa.
now an international film festival that we have. So the organization itself has been around about 11 years. Started in 2013
Okay.
by founders, a few founders, can't name all of them because I can't remember everybody's name right now. But it originally started with a mission to really kind of share these stories and experiences with the world. It was
Right.
focused around films and media to make sure that we are creating a lane for ourselves in this world, just noting how often we don't hear too many stories about our experiences, about our culture, So Black Alphabet
True.
was a pioneer in creating a space for that. And over the last 11 years, we've continued to partner with different organizations. So we now host our annual film festival here in the city of Chicago.
Wow,
We
great.
host a film festival in Cincinnati with their Black Pride organization. We've hosted
Mhm.
a film festival in South Florida, and last year we actually extended our program to a more advocacy arm. So we actually
Mhm.
took a trip to Uganda, Africa, and hosted a film
Wow.
festival there with their Black queer population. So it's really been able to blossom into this really beautiful thing that is impacting a lot of people. But
Mm.
in 2017, 2018, after one of the film festivals, the team had talkbacks, so conversations with the directors and the producers about the films. And one thing that they noticed was that people were really impacted by these stories, and it
Mhm.
triggered a lot of things for them emotionally and mentally. And we realized that there was a mental health component to consuming media that we wanted to continue to tap into. So the organization kind of revamped its mission to now include more of a social justice education focus, which brings us to that wellness piece. So now we, in addition to the film festival, we also offer free therapy sessions to individuals in the community. So we have
Wow.
group therapy sessions, where group art therapy, where people are able to come build some sense of community, get really creative, but also have that outlet to be able to express themselves. But then we
Mhm.
also have free individual therapy. If you're not a group person, if you want more of that one-on-one feel, we offer free individual sessions for folks as well. Those are open, so people can go and sign up. It's on our website. Um, but that's just a little bit of what the organization does. We do other independent film screenings. So actually coming up December 12th, we'll be hosting a small screening for The Last Holiday, which is a
Mhm.
film with Jussie Smollett, that he'll be leading as an actor in, and do that around the city with other local creative artists. We have a artist in residence program where we support local filmmakers to help them produce their films. We are currently working on a new building space, which is really exciting. So in
Wow.
January, we will be opening our first creative arts center, community center in the Bronzeville area to continue that economic development for our community and population, to really give people a space to come and
Mhm.
feel welcome and supported and just have the ability to meet other folks. Um, but I've been with the organization for almost 2 years now. I originally started as a member of the board of directors, really kind of coming in, providing insight and guidance to programming to figure out, where could we take the strategy. And then later on stepped in as the director of institutional partnerships. So I lead our philanthropy efforts. I do a lot of grant writing and fundraising and connecting, to make sure that we are partnering with those strategic alliances, those thought partners, those
Mhm.
like-minded leaders in the space, to ensure that we are continuing to fulfill that mission and making a lasting, intentional impact in the things that we're doing.
Whoa. First of all, congratulations.
Thank
You
you.
guys are doing a lot of great work. What just interests me, Darius, is the whole Uganda piece because through my website, WyattEvans.com, and through the Wyatt podcast, I've been shining a bright light on egregious discrimination against
Yes.
LGBTQ plus individuals. And I had an activist on the show as well. He's going to come back later to give us an update. So, last year they passed the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023.
Yep.
Uganda was horrible before, but with that act last year, it's even worse. I mean, they're talking death penalty. So, having said all of that, what was the experience like in Uganda?
It was a mix of emotions. It was
Mm,
definitely scary being there, just knowing that this law had been passed, and, our existence as Black queer people was not welcomed in the space. So we were kind of
mm,
not on edge the entire time, but just,
yeah.
looking over our shoulder. We did have security with us to make sure that we were safe and protected. But it was also a really empowering experience to be there, to really connect with queer Ugandans and talk to them face to face about, their lives and about the things that they're going through and the things that, they may need more support with, and really kind of figuring out how can we extend more support here in Chicago. We've gone. We've had the conversation, we've made connections with folks. And even as an organization, we're still figuring out what does that long-term support look like. So reconnecting with some of those folks that we've met, we were actually able to kind of work on a small documentary series to really detail and bring those stories back to America, to really help people see what's going on and to have more conversations about it. But it was nice. We hosted a small film festival, but it was about 100 folks that was there to really kind of show them the documentaries of different like asylum processes, of refugees kind of coming to America, but also having conversations with them about being safe in their home, realizing that people don't or shouldn't need to, seek refuge somewhere else. They deserve to be safe in the place that they grew up in. So having conversations around the laws and the policies as well, for me, was really impactful. I come from this policy advocacy background.
Sure.
So I'm always, interested in ways that we can make more structural change without too much fight, but actually making things impactful, the things that we're doing. So it was a beautiful experience. I would go back, but still, be on edge about the laws and everything. And seeing how even in today's world, how the new bill has been passed in Ghana, so seeing that things are continuing to regress in a way, but we're always finding more ways or trying to find more ways to extend that advocacy and that support.
Oh, here's an idea for you, Darius. If you don't mind, I'll connect you with the Ugandan activist that I had on the show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
Maybe you guys can start a conversation. Okay.
Yeah, we would love that.
All right. Okay. You're the new CEO of Contributing Creator, which is a business development consulting firm. I love that title.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Give us a scoop. What's the purpose? What's the mission?
Yeah, so Contributing Creators is a business development consulting firm, a multidisciplinary consulting firm focused on design, so graphic design, web design, visual design, and development, which is more grant writing services, grant research to really kind of help folks build stronger infrastructure. And my goal when launching this was really a way for me to put all of my skill sets into one thing. I do a lot of contract consulting, a lot of freelance consulting with different organizations and nonprofits. So this is a way for me to package that, but also to offer more benefits to the organizations that I'm serving. In my past experience working in organizations and businesses and nonprofits and schools, one thing that I realized was that people really struggle with their capacity. And a lot of times that capacity is funding. So I kind of took a step back from the more programming side of things and the more face-to-face engagement to really say, okay, how can I best serve the people that I'm working with? And for a lot of them, it's helping them fundraise. It's helping them raise money. It's helping them, put the word out there about the great work that they're doing. So whether that's through visual design, making sure that your website is up to date, that you have your SEO really heavy so that way people can find you on the internet, or, creating visual appealing things that people are, it captures their eye, it's eye-catching, it's captivating, and it stands out. So I want to make sure that the great work that people are doing does not go unnoticed. And we're helping them build a stronger foundation so that way they can lead more sustainable businesses, that they can actually have organizations that are thriving in the light without feeling the burden of having to do so much themselves with limited capacity. So Contributing Creator is a creative way for me to continue to lean into the development side of business and make sure that I am not just here as a tool, but I'm also here as a resource for folks. So we'll be officially launching in January 2025, open up to new clients that are looking for grant writing services, that are looking for design services, or for folks that are just looking for more strategy. I have done work as a strategy consultant, and that's also something that a lot of people struggle with, is really figuring out what vision they want to go for, where do
Mm.
they want to take their goals, really helping them figure out, this is something that you can do. It's just a matter of setting a plan for it. So we also have some retainer services. So for folks that are looking for more long-term support, they can book and hire us for month-to-month or quarterly services as well.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I like it, man. You are expressing every aspect of yourself. That is
Thank
so
you.
great.
Yeah, day by day, just figuring out how to be more of who I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Mr. The Table on the Air, your popular talk show. Let's get into that. First of all,
Let's get into it.
how does it feel to be on the other side of the table right
You
now?
know, a little awkward sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm usually the one asking all the questions, but no, it feels good to just be appreciated and acknowledged for the work that I'm doing. I think that that's one of the best things that I've taken from hosting and producing the Table on Air, is noticing that people really appreciate the conversations that we have around Black queer experiences, which in this world, does not come too often. And we don't have too many spaces to celebrate our people and our culture. So I wanted to intentionally create something that did that, to really give them their flowers while they're here in this moment. So I appreciate being on the other side of the camera sometimes, to continue to talk about this and really to bring out more information about it so that more people know where to find us. I created that not just as a talk show, but as an educational program, for people to find these resources and find these people with social capital that they're able to connect with, to learn something new, or to be able to reach out to for a job or for a resource. I have music artists on there, I have therapists on there, I have business leaders on there. So it's a broad range of amazing Black LGBTQ people around this world that are doing great things that may not have, been on your social radar because they are Black and queer, and we just don't get enough opportunity to connect
We
with those
don't.
folks.
That's why I do what I do, because I just think it is so important for the whole world to see all of these wonderful people that are doing things,
I agree.
that are doing positive, impactful work like you're doing.
Thank you.
Oh, I scoured the internet to get information on you, as I do with all my guests, because
As you should.
as I
Research.
gotta be together with this. Guess what I found?
What?
I found this video of you. You were interviewing yourself, talking about
I did.
yeah, you remember that? I think it was
I do.
2022, maybe.
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, you were interviewing yourself, and I said, that's balls. I like that. That's ballsy.
It
So
was. It was very different.
yeah, so I mean, you were looking good, you were articulate, you had good background, you were telling something that was of substance. So why did you do it?
I did that because a lot of times, as you know, like, I am always giving other people their flowers. I'm giving them their moment to kind of talk and shine.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that my community tells me all the time is that I don't give myself enough credit. I don't give myself the time to shine or all those things. So I kind of sat with that for a little bit and really kind of thought about why I did not celebrate myself as much, why I did
Mm-hmm.
not acknowledge the great things that I was doing. And I created it for myself. I have my own platform, I have my own show. Why not interview myself, And it was also something that I have not really seen done before. Of course, people do vlogs and they kind of talk to the camera, but I wanted to really be intentional of like, no, this is an interview with Darius, by Darius, talking about the great things that Darius is doing. So in the interview, you've probably seen that I talked about a lot of kind of successes that I've had, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
struggles that I've had. So the same conversation that I have with my guests, I try to authentically have with myself. but to really give the people a little bit more background and insight into who I am as a creator, as a founder, and be really vulnerable with my community in a way that I never have before. I'm not a big person to celebrate myself all the time or to talk about the things that I'm doing, and I do a lot.
Yeah, you
So that
do.
was an opportunity for me to kind of talk through some of those things and really say, no, I deserve to be celebrated as well. And to take that permission for myself. I did not need anybody to tell me to do it. I didn't
Right.
need anybody to help me do it. I gave myself permission to celebrate myself. So that was an exciting moment for me to be able to do, because it kind of set the tone for how I continue to see my work and how I continue to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful way. It's wonderful self validation,
It is.
and I think so many of us, we creative people and we've accomplished stuff. It can be a little difficult to talk about our successes and our achievements.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found that video, I said, I like that. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. You were interviewed by the esteemed Mr. Philip Esteem. He is the administrator of the renowned PrideIndex.com. That was last year. Don't you think I'm clever when I said the esteemed Mr. Philip Esteem?
Yes, because the Esteem Awards. Yes.
Yes, yeah, this Esteem Awards. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Phil's doing some great things around the nation, not just here in Chicago. I know he does a lot of travel to Atlanta and to other states, celebrating Black queer people and all their greatness.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Yes, Philip, you're just wonderful. Anywho, in that PrideIndex.com interview, Darius, Phil asked you this question. He asked you, what is your ultimate goal? And you responded, and I quote, to save our lives, to save the lives of Black, queer, trans, and non binary people. That is my ultimate goal because Black, trans, and non binary people are dying at alarming rates. They're getting bullied or getting taken advantage of. They're not being well served in healthcare, education, housing, pay equity, and so many other ways. Even representation in the media is lacking, end quote. Poignant, powerful. Let's unpack it.
Yeah, I mean that's really the goal, is to help save our lives for real. There are so many ways that we can do that, and so many ways that we have not. But my goal with this is to be a resource and a tool for other people who are also trying to do this work. Just noting that it's not just me. I am not a one-on-one doing this. There are so many other advocates and activists that are on the ground fighting for our lives. And to me, that's powerful, to be in community with other people who are also trying to champion the equity that we deserve in this world and really create spaces that support that, whether that's through education, whether that's through housing stability, whether that's through healthcare, whether that's through media representation. There's so many ways where Black LGBTQIA plus people are seen as a deficit, and that is not right. It's not true. There's so much power and value and validity and capital and richness that comes from our culture that changes the world and inspires so many things across the world. And we don't get the recognition for that. And when it comes to our livelihood, we are neglected in a lot of ways, and that's not right. So my goal is to continue to foster a deeper sense of belonging in all spaces around the world. And that is a small thing to do. But when you foster a deeper sense of belonging, that means that more people like us belong in these spaces. More people like us are seen in those spaces. They're heard for their, the lack thereof of what they may have. So really creating opportunities for people to talk about these things, to talk about their needs on a more public level. So that way the world knows how they can better support us as Black queer people is the goal. to really provide more spaces for us to advocate for ourselves, to teach people how to have a voice for themselves. And for those that may not have, have a platform, bring them into the community, bring them into the conversation, bring them to the table. So that way they're talking about these things themselves, they're making change happen, and they're being connected with the right people to be able to make that change. Now, I don't know how that's going to look over the next 4 years, but
I know.
we are in this fight together,
Yeah, we are.
and we have a lot of momentum happening, especially here in the city of Chicago, when it comes to creating equity around the things that we need and deserve. And I'm very grateful to be doing what I do and to be supported in what I do. But it doesn't stop here. There's so many other ways that we can continue to advocate for better health equity, for better education, for better housing, and even just support from like family and friends. There's a lot that we don't talk about, in those settings as well. So trying to make it more normal for people to really share the things that they're experiencing and going through, so that way other people know that they are not alone in their experiences.
Wonderful. As I was talking to some folks yesterday, and I said, we have just got to buckle up the next 4 years, because our ancestors had it even worse.
Yeah. We've been able to overcome a lot. So we know that we can do this.
And also, let me tell you something. You took us to church. You took us to church. The church today, man. Because everything you said was just so on point with eloquence, man, and substance, and it made so much sense.
Thank you.
You made it make
sense.
I
talk a lot about this. I talk a lot about this because I believe in the work, and it's important to me to continue to do this in all areas, not just as a Black queer person, but just as a person in general. Like, people deserve to be treated fairly, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of their gender, regardless of their race. So my goal is to make sure that all people are treated equitably.
Absolutely. And we really applaud you for that, Darius, and thank you for that. Now, let me ask you, what do you have planned for 2025? What projects, appearances, stuff like that?
Can't give you too much of that. Well, a lot of different things. So for 2024, we're actually wrapping up our event series. We will be having our last panel event on December 15th at Nobody's Darling Bar, which will be centered around policy, advocacy, and social justice to really kind of end the year, with that community support. I feel like we all need a space to kind of come together to kind of talk about these things. But for 2025, we'll be continuing our book club. We are continuing to work with more local organizations, again, to host different in-person events to make sure that our people are seen and heard. And we are looking to collaborate with more folks for the Closet Unlocked. Again, for contributing creators, we will officially be opening our client bookings in January of 2025. So again, for those folks that are looking for grant writing services or design, web design, graphic design, or strategy consulting, they can reach out to us as well. And just in general, more rest I am looking forward to. I am looking to really lean more into my creative self, get back to writing. I am a writer at heart, and just spending more time with family and friends.
Cool. That sounds like the right plan. Okay, give us all of your social media, man. How can we connect with you, follow you, all of that?
Amazing. So if you want to connect with me on an individual level, my social handle is DCaffGotem, so DCAFFGOTEM, which is a combination of my first and last name. It's a nickname that I have. For the Closet Unlocked, you can follow us at Closet Unlocked on all social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all the things. And for Contributing Creator, you can follow us at Contributing Creator on Instagram, as well as contributingcreator.com.
Would you mind repeating that social media information one more time? It sort of cut off a little bit, our connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for personal, it is DCAFFGOTEM for the Closet Unlocked. It is Closet Unlocked on all platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all the things, Facebook, LinkedIn. And contributing creator is contributing creator on all things.
Wonderful. Mr. Darius Caffey, thank you for stopping by. Wyatt, man.
Thank you, Wyatt, for having me. I appreciate it.
As Don Cornelius of Soul Train used to say, something like a stone cold blast or some shit like that. I'm glad to have you on the show. You have an open invitation to come back.
Well, don't tell me that. I might be back too soon.
Well, that's all right. As long as you got some new stuff to talk about, you can come on
I'm always
back.
Working on new.
Darius, listen, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Me too.
Yeah. So, y'all, there you have it. You can find the official Wyatt podcast page at WyattEvans.com, the go-to destination for LGBTQ plus news, features, commentary, and entertainment. WyattEvans.com is visited by more than 100 countries on the regular. All I can say to that is, hey, baby. And at WyattEvans.com, you'll find my smoking hot, HAWT hot, Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. And as you just saw on the top, the newest installment is called Shattered. I said Shattered. And y'all, Shattered is full of action, danger, intrigue, sexually charged situations, passion, and all of the wonderful elements that you're used to in the Nothing Can Tear Us Apart series of novels. So get your new copy of Shattered. Now, you can follow me, your host, Wyatt O'Brien Evans, all across social media, and poof, is right there for you to peruse, like TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any comments or whatever, you can hit me up at wyattonair@gmail.com. So until next time, y'all, woof, goddammit, woof, 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 woof. I said, woof.